Hello again, welcome back to the shop. In the last video you saw me making the valve springs, and there were quite a few little parts that I made since then off camera because they were so small that it was hard for me to see doing the machine work to them, let alone filming them. So I will just give you a brief rundown here as to where I'm at on the Galloway engine. So let's step around to it and we'll take a look. All right, starting at the front here, I got the rock arm made that attaches to the push rod here, and this little disc here is silver soldered onto this arm, and that's going to actuate the exhaust valve. I made this little clevis here that hooks to the push rod. These brass pieces here are the guides for the push rod, and in the back here, this slot is for the governor arm that is going to push this push rod back and forth. And when you can see when this pushes on that rod, this little latch out arm here moves, and when you rotate the engine over to right there, that will latch on that little catch on the push rod, and that locks it open so that the exhaust valve stays open. Okay, this was a fun little part to make. And it's got two little 440 flathead screws that hold this arm on here, and when you rotate this, see, it releases because you have no governor pressure pushing this arm back over. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up if you can't even see it moving. But all this stuff was so small, I didn't bother filming it because I could barely see when I was machining it, let alone trying to film it. These brass pieces here were as a rough casting, and I had to machine them both. This little hole in here is going to be for the pin for the governor arm. That's going to be there's going to be a weight on the shaft here, or a guide collar, and this flywheel is going to have the governor weight on it. This here is the completed igniter that's going to go on the side of the cylinder. This little lever, get something to point with here. This little lever right here was machined out of a solid piece, and it has a little tungsten point silver soldered on the end of it right here. I don't know if you can even see it. Yeah, that was a piece of TIG electrode that I silver soldered onto here, and then I cut it off with a cutoff wheel. And this is the positive post for the igniter. This is also a piece of tungsten that was silver soldered in the back side of the post here. Drilled a hole and set it down in there, and then the silver soldered that in place. This little piece of brass here is for the lock screw for setting your gap. It's got a 25 thousandths gap there, and when this closes up like that there, and it releases, when the arm on the push rod releases it, it sparks. So I had this is silver soldered onto here. Then I had to drill a 256 hole in it and make the screw in the little nut. And this is the trip arm here that works against the trip lever that's mounted to the push rod. And this was a fun little bugger to machine, I'll tell you what. And this this inner piece here has got a step on it, so it locks this arm to this arm when it comes back. So you got two different radiuses here that you have to machine. And that comes forward like that there. And you might be able to see where that locks up against it there to set your point gap. This here is one that I had done. I had this part in the mill in the rotary table mounted like this here, and I had it all machined, had the hole drilled in it for the little arm that needed to be silver soldered to it. And then I realized that I had done it the wrong direction. This is a 15-degree angle here with a 90. This needed to be on this side like this, with the 90 degree on this side of it. I had done it backwards. This took me about, I don't know, 2 hours to make, and it was no good. So I had to remake it. I started off with it, and I'd made my first cut, and I got to looking at it. I thought, no, that's wrong. So then I turned it 180 and made my second cut with the cutter on the back side of it rather than on the front side, and I was right altogether. And then I had to make a tiny little boring bar to bore this part of the piece out so it will fit. The two will mesh together, and that was a real challenge, I'll tell you what. Especially when I did it wrong. But got there in the end. Made a mandrel for making the spring, wound the spring, made this little tiny 60 thousandths little pin that goes through the center of this, and there's a little tiny little slotted screwdriver screw, 440 screw here with a screwdriver slot in it, and that locks this pin, this piece here, that locks this piece here to your shaft here, your negative shaft. And then the post, and then the spring, of course. You'll have to forgive my little jury rig setup here, but I'm wanting to test this igniter I built, and I've got it hooked to a 12-volt car battery with a low tension coil, and I'm just going to trip it. can see it flashing. So for today, what I'm going to be working on, this is a casting again. It's the igniter trip, and this part here is going to mount on a push rod. And let's see if I can turn this here a little bit. It's going to mount on a push rod like this here, and it's going to push the igniter closed. As the push rod moves back and forth, it's going to contact this little lever underneath here, and it's going to push it closed. So what we got to do is get this set up in the middle here and get it rough machined to size, and then I got to lay out some lines and drill a couple holes in it and put an angle on it. And the front edge has to have a piece of steel silver soldered on it so this piece doesn't wear out. This is the rough part right here. All right, I got this part in the vise here. I got it roughly leveled up. We're going to start by machining the top surface first, and then we're going to do the sides. Raise this up a little bit here. Come up a little more with the table. Bump another 10 thousandths here, and we'll see it cleans up all the way across. Now we got to go a little more. We'll go another 10. Actually, I'm going to go 5. All right. Okay, let's get this side trued up. Okay, I'll be back. All right, I kind of got this part roughed out here. I'm gonna drill and ream 3/16 hole, which is 187. I'm gonna get that done, and then I'm gonna rough in this back portion here, and then this angled part needs to have a steel tip put in it. So I'm gonna mill down to the line, my angled line here. I'm gonna kind of mill down close to it, and then I'm gonna put in the recess for a piece of steel that gets silver soldered in. All right, lined up on where my holes got to be. Now we'll try this again. That's better. All right. A reamer in here. The mill and back gear. Okay. Okay, here's what I got so far. That's roughed out, and then this piece here has got to get silver soldered on the end here like that, and then I got to finish it to the depth that it needs to be. I left this just a little bit proud right here. You probably can't see that. This area right here is a few thousandths tall yet. So this is going to get machined to that height, and then I got to do the width and do the end length. All right, I got that piece silver soldered on there, and I'm going to machine it so it just touches the brass in the back. take another 20,000 off of here. Another 20. See if I can tell how much further I got to go. Probably another 50,000. We're getting close. I'm gonna take another 20. Take another 10. Right there. I want to machine it down till it just touches the blue on my part. Right there. Yeah, it just touched. All right. Beautiful. Okay, now I got to machine this to length. All right, now the next thing that's got to happen here is I got to drill and tap a 540 screw hole. This is for the adjuster for this latch lever. I already found the center on it. It had to be 187 from the end, which it is. We're going to drill it tap drill size for 540 screw. Okay. There's a lubricant there. Got to put the mill in neutral, and we'll bring this down here and we'll get this started. Like that. Tap this hole. Just like that. Okay. All right, I got to machine this to the right width. So I got to take 26 thousandths off per side. there. Okay. I got to flip the part over and do the exact same thing on the other side. Almost done. Now I'm going to mill the slot in this part so it'll fit over the push rod. Brush some of these chips out of here. Yeah, we'll see what that looks like here. Can't really tell. Let me grab the air hose. It looks good. All right. Here's the trip lever all complete. It's got the adjusting screw for the how far down the back comes, and it's got a little spring in the front. And also made this piece. These tiny little parts are what the trip lever pivots on. The through bolt, there's a spacer here and a nut that goes on the back side, and that's what locks the forward motion of the trip lever in the slot on the push rod. So I'm going to get this assembled here and I'll be back. Okay, I have this assembled here, and I'll see if you can see how this works. It's like that there. It pushes the igniter closed and comes back and then resets. This slot that's in this push rod right here is so that you can move this lever forward or backwards, which kind of affects your ignition timing. It affects when the trip actually closes. It's like that there. And that's the purpose of this slot. Well, I think this is going to do it for this video. Some more progress made on the Galloway engine. The next part that I got to do, I believe, is going to be the governor arm. Kind of a tricky part I got to make for that too. And there's going to be more silver soldering on that part. So anyway, this is going to be it on this part. So I hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.